Right now, the bill to raise the debt ceiling is now in the hands of the Senate. What senators are saying about the bill and what's expected next. Also, protesters in Iowa are demanding answers in connection to a partial building collapse as people still remain unaccounted for. This is News 3 Now at noon. Good afternoon, I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for joining us. We begin with the continuation of our summer-like weather where temperatures could climb into the 90s over the next few days. And along with those temperatures, some of us could see some showers and thunderstorms later today. For more, let's head out to the weather patio. Meteorologist Jacob Montesano has a look at your certified most accurate forecast. Kind of sticky out there.
Yeah, it's already very hot and very humid. The sun is shining. But yesterday, I want to mention that it was the first 90-degree day. But today, we're already at 85 degrees. We're seeing partly sunny to mostly cloudy skies. Not a ton of sunshine, but there are peaks of sunshine at times. Looking at the current temperatures across our area, we have been close to 90 further west. La Crosse specifically at 89 degrees. And parts of our area will likely get into the 90s, but likely going to be the lower 90s some point this afternoon. But we do have that chance of some showers and storms. The forecasted high for Madison will be in the upper 80s, but we definitely could get to 90 degrees. Now let me talk about those storms in the afternoon. Right now we aren't seeing anything across Wisconsin. There are some showers across Iowa, but that's not really what's going to impact our area. The storms that will impact our area will be these pop-up showers and storms. And for the most part, it will impact much of our area, but each individual location will be a hit or miss. Some places could see heavy rain for a brief period of time. Other locations may not see any rain at all. It all depends on where these storms fire up. These will fire up in the afternoon and continue throughout the evening. May continue around sunset, but right after sunset, most of it will clear out of our area. And even those areas that do see the storms will only see the heavy rain for a brief period of time. For the most part, we're going to remain dry for much of the day, with the exception of a pass-by shower or storm. Now, we are going to see more chances of storms tomorrow, but the temperatures are going to remain hot. I'll have the details on the forecast and give you your weekend forecast coming up later in the show.
All right, Jake, we'll see you in a few minutes. Thank you. Stay up to date on the weather on our First Warn Forecast weather app. It has hourly forecasts, road conditions, and the latest radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC Weather. Police in McFarland are asking for the public's help in finding a potential witness to a drive-by shooting on Memorial Day. It happened at the intersection of Highway 51 Stoughton Road and Larson Beach Road around 11:21 a.m. Monday. As part of their investigation, police have identified a vehicle driven by a possible witness. The potential witness inside this vehicle is described as a white male between 60 and 70 years old. Anyone who recognizes the vehicle or the description of the driver is asked to call the McFarland Police Department. Well, today marks the start of Pride Month, celebrating the LGBTQ community. Pride Month started as a tribute to those who took part in the Stonewall riots. Meanwhile, Pride Day itself is June 28th. It marks the day in 1969 when police raided a gay club in New York City called the Stonewall Inn. It led patrons, staff, and neighborhood residents to riot outside. Protesters demanded the creation of places where the LGBTQ community could be open about their sexual orientation without having to fear getting arrested. And to mark the beginning of Pride Month, the Progress flag is being raised at the state capitol today. You're taking a live look at the east wing of the Capitol building where the flag will be raised. Since 2019, either the Rainbow Pride flag or the Progress Pride flag is shown over the Capitol each year for the month of June. The compromise bill to raise the debt ceiling and avert a potentially catastrophic default heads to the Senate today. This after it passed the House last night. The Fiscal Responsibility Act lifts the debt limit throughout early 2025, giving the U.S. more borrowing power to pay its bills. But it cuts federal spending in return, clawing back unused COVID relief money and IRS funding, loosening environmental rules for new projects, and placing stricter work requirements for some receiving food assistance. Just like in the House, some conservative Republicans and progressive Democrats in the Senate oppose the bill.
There's no way I can pass this much debt onto my grandchildren.
The American people, in my view, are sick and tired of seeing deficit reduction come on the backs of working people who are struggling.
While some senators are pushing for amendments, leaders are hoping for a final vote before the week's end. Of Wisconsin's 8 U.S. representatives, 3 voted against the compromise, including Madison Area Representative Mark Pocan. Both of Wisconsin's Democrats voted against it. Pocan joined by Gwen Moore, as well as Republican Tom Tiffany in opposing the deal. The other 5 representatives, all Republicans, supported it. New information confirmed by CBS News could mean more legal trouble for former President Trump. He was recorded talking about a classified document that he kept after leaving the White House. 2 sources familiar with the matter tell CBS News the audio tape is from a meeting 2 years ago at former President Trump's New Jersey golf club. More than a year before, federal investigators searched his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida and seized records marked classified. The sources say the recording captures Trump acknowledging there are national security restrictions on the Pentagon memo that detail potential plans to attack Iran.
This is a huge piece of evidence for the special counsel. It'll be highly influential in the decision of whether or not to indict the former president. And certainly, if there were to be a trial, this would be mighty powerful evidence, a tape recording of the president himself.
In an interview on CNN, Trump's lawyer, Jim Trusty, did not dispute the facts of the reporting, but accused the Justice Department and the FBI of, quote, a leak campaign. The city of Davenport, Iowa, released about 100 documents in connection to the partial building collapse that left several people unaccounted for. It comes as crowds continue to protest, demanding answers from city leaders. The released reports document 3 visits to the building just this year. Engineers shared concerns over cracked bricks on the outside of the building that got worse as the year continued. Brandon Colvin is one of the people unaccounted for, believed to still be in the collapsed apartment building. His daughter, Brittany, says she just wants to see her dad.
I got a lot to say. I've been quiet, but that's my dad in there, and there's people in there, and something's gonna have to get done.
3 days after the collapse, and protesters are still holding out hope to see their loved ones again. Well, it's time to vote for the Best of Madison 2023. You have until the end of the month to vote for your favorite businesses, people, things to do, and much more. Head to channel3000.com and look for this story on our homepage. Then scroll down to the bottom of the article, and you can click on each category to vote. All you need is a valid email address to register, and make sure your votes are counted. You can only vote once per category, so make sure your vote counts. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Amazon will pay out millions in settlements over privacy concerns related to its Ring camera and Alexa products. That's coming up in the Money Watch Report.
Amazon will pay out millions in settlements with the Federal Trade Commission over privacy concerns tied to its Ring camera and Alexa products. The company settled the Ring-related suit for $5.8 million. In a court filing, the FTC says employees were given unfettered access to personal videos and failed to protect customer safety. Regulators say one employee spied on female customers for months using cameras placed in bedrooms and bathrooms. Amazon settled a second lawsuit that alleges it violated the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act by illegally storing minors' information through the Alexa voice assistant. That payout is for $25 million. And if you plan to fly Air New Zealand, be prepared to step on a scale. Over the next few weeks, the airline is weighing international passengers so it can determine an average passenger weight. Air New Zealand says the data is being recorded anonymously and kept private and will only be used to help improve fuel efficiency. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Chanel Call.
Checking Wall Street at the noon hour, the Dow Industrials up 205 points, the NASDAQ up 151, the S&P 500 up 40. Next to noon, Pam has today's egg prices, and Jacob has the latest forecast. And then today on Live at 4, we'll meet a man who says divining rods help him map cemeteries. It's our Traveler Throwback Thursday.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report on this hot Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. And I got rainfall reports that had some folks in the Fond du Lac area with as much as nearly 2 inches of rain, and the rest of us got like 4 drops. So, again, that call for rain pretty much unanimous across the state. Well, I'll tell you what, our Wisconsin corn growers, aside from continuing to wrap up planting, taking care of weed control, etc., they're also getting involved in supporting a growing industry in Wisconsin, our distilleries. The Wisconsin corn growers have announced that they are going to become part of a sponsorship package with the 2023 Heartland Whiskey Competition. It's in its 4th year. They have actually seen a 54% increase since they started back in 2016 with the number of entries from craft distillers all across the United States. Now, without this sponsorship from the Wisconsin corn growers, some of our distillers in Wisconsin might be able to compete, but they would not be allowed to take home the championship. I was talking about it yesterday with Mark Hoffman from the Wisconsin corn growers. So they are going to try to stay involved with that competition and allow our growing distillery industry in the state to get some national recognition. Way to go. Hey, kind of a, I don't want to say breaking news story, but you are going to notice that our grain trade is substantially higher on the midday in Chicago. Why? Well, Black Sea Grain Initiative. Remember that deal that was brokered between Russia and Ukraine to allow grain to be transported across the Black Sea? Well, Russia is now refusing to recognize any of the ships that are trying to register for that agreement. So, again, no movement of grain out of Ukraine into the world marketplace. That's got our markets up. Just bringing it up because this means a short-term, probably short-term opportunity for our grain producers. Dairy markets today looking a little bit better. Barrel cheese is up 1 1.25 at $1.51. 40-pound block cheese up 8 1/4 at $1.50 1/4. Double A butter, penny stronger, $2.46 per pound. So there you go, Mark. That's about as close as I can get to breaking news when it comes to our farm markets. But that brokered deal between Russia and Ukraine to try to allow all that grain to flow into the rest of the world marketplace, that's what's driving us up today.
All right, as in the temperatures as well.
Hey, that's
all right, Pam, thank you. Another hot one out there. Jacob's back now with a complete forecast.
Yeah, and you had talked about the rainfall. There were places to the east of Madison that did see up to 2 inches of rain, but pretty much Dane County and everywhere to the west saw about nothing. And yesterday was also our first 90-degree day of the year. We are going to continue to see temperatures at least near 90 degrees through Saturday. We also have some small chances of storms. Unfortunately, they are going to be small, though, for today and tomorrow. It's going to remain hot and humid for the weekend, but despite the humid weather, it is going to remain dry for the weekend. Now, I talked about the temperatures yesterday. We reached 91 degrees, but really, since these last couple of days, temperatures have been pretty comfortable with highs in the lower 80s, 70s, 60s, but now they are starting to get a bit hot, and the hot weather is going to continue. I also want to point out the dry weather we've been seeing. It was actually the second driest May on record for Madison. Now, this afternoon, we are going to see temperatures back in the upper 80s. Now, yesterday, the forecast today was 88 degrees. We got to 91, so it is possible that we see temperatures reach 90 once again today, but in general, upper 80s, lower 90s is what will happen for much of our area with those afternoon storms. And it looks like some of these storms are already starting to pop up right out to the south of Dane County. This will continue throughout the afternoon as these storms are going to continue to fire up. And unlike yesterday, really this will impact our entire area. But unfortunately, it's still going to be a hit or miss depending on each individual location, where some places could see some heavy rain, probably only over a brief period of time, and other locations may not see any rain at all. So we may see isolated rain totals up to maybe even 1, possibly up to 2 inches, with some locations possibly not seeing anything at all. This will clear out by sunset in a few hours following. And then tomorrow there's going to be another chance of some scattered showers and storms during the afternoon. It does appear the greatest chance tomorrow will be off to the west, but similar to today, it looks like much of our area will at least have the chance to see those scattered showers and storms, but the temperatures are also going to remain hot. Overnight, we'll see low temperatures in the mid-60s, so a very mild night with some storms lingering during the evening. But for the most part, especially during the morning hours tomorrow, we are going to be dry. Highs will be back near 90 degrees tomorrow with another chance of some afternoon storms. And then for Saturday, temperatures are going to be very similar, but we aren't really going to expect to see any rainfall. Highs will once again be near 90 degrees, but it is going to be dry for the weekend with temperatures still in the upper 80s to possibly lower 90s. 80s for much of next week, but it will be a bit cooler in the lower 80s. Specifically Monday night into Tuesday, where we could see a cold front along with some more storms. That will bring the temperatures down to around 80 degrees for Tuesday. Tuesday, Wednesday, possibly Thursday as well, and then another chance of storms towards the end of next week. Now, even these storm chances we're seeing next week, including the storm chances the next couple of days, they're not expected to be very widespread. So as a whole, the dry trend will continue. Hopefully we see a few more storms pop up this afternoon. It does appear this afternoon will be a little bit more rainy than yesterday. Although for those that saw the rain yesterday, as she mentioned, up to 2 inches for places east of Dane County. But today it's probably not going to change a whole lot unless we see plenty of storms, which we're already seeing storms now, so that's definitely some good news. But we don't expect to see any severe weather, but definitely can't count it out when we see these pop-up storms. So fortunately, we're going to continue to be dry.
Fingers crossed. All right, Jacob, thank you. It's time to introduce you to our pet of the week. This is Fritzy, a very friendly, curious, and playful adult cat. She enjoys playing with toys, getting treats, and will lay in your lap for snuggles. Fritzy is a member of the Lonely Hearts Club, so her adoption fee has been reduced. As for her adoption, ask for her in the adoption center. Look at that face. We'll stop by Mounds Pet Food Warehouse on Stoughton Road in Madison between 4 and 6 tomorrow to meet some animals available for adoption, and follow Dane County Humane Society's Facebook page for more information. That's where they'll post which animals will be at the event. Last week's pet, Barry the dog, is still available for adoption. So if you're interested in adopting Fritzy, Barry, or checking out all the other animals at the Dane County Humane Society, go to giveshelter.org. Now, Howard's working on a perfect summer dish in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Over the years, we've done all sorts of segments that feature couscous. And it's really exciting to see how so many of you have fallen in love with this Moroccan favorite. I guess what makes it so darn popular is that it's so versatile. So here's a way that's perfect for summer, since it's fresh tasting and can be served hot or chilled. To get things going, we heat some olive oil in a soup pot and add a chopped onion. Once it's golden, we add chicken broth, a bag of frozen mixed veggies that we've thawed, a chopped tomato, some fresh dill, and a bit of garlic powder and salt. After this comes to a boil, we slowly stir in a box of couscous. We'll cover it and take it off the heat, then let it stand for a few minutes. When it's light and fluffy, it's ready to be served right out of the pot. Or you can let it chill and serve it as a novel replacement to a traditional pasta salad. Either way, hot or cold, it's a colorful addition to any table, any time of the year. Maybe try serving it stuffed in a pita for a fun change of pace. To get the simplest can be recipe for vegetable couscous, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a veggie-packed way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, more food next to noon. Angie Edge from the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin kicks off June Dairy Month with a recipe that'll keep you cool during this hot stretch. Stay with us. Welcome back. Angie Edge from the Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is here to celebrate June Dairy Month, which starts today.
Time to celebrate all of our Wisconsin dairy farmers and really what makes Wisconsin America's dairyland.
Dairy breakfast all over the place.
All over, pretty much every county has a dairy breakfast, you name it. It's such an important part of Wisconsin, being that it's over $45 billion of our state's economy every single year. So a great way to taste and celebrate and discover all things dairy.
And I'm sure you have a list on your website of all the dairy breakfasts.
Yeah, so there's something dairy related going on every single weekend in June, even in July.
Cows on the concourse.
Yes.
All right, so what are we making today?
Well, on our WisconsinCheese.com website, we have a lot of dairy delights that you can make, and this is a blueberry peach mascarpone icebox cake. With the hot weather today, it's going to cool you down. It's full of dairy goodness and pretty simple to make. If you like a tiramisu dessert, it's a little twist on that. So we have the ladyfinger cookies, and then that we've actually soaked in a bourbon. We have lots of peaches and blueberries that are our next layer. The next layer has all Wisconsin dairy products. So we have the Crave Brothers mascarpone, Sassy Cow Heavy Whipping Cream, and then the Odyssey Vanilla Yogurt. So those three things are mixed together for 2 layers of the dessert, and then you can actually just top it off with some fresh peaches, blueberries, and a little mint. So it's very rich and refreshing. It's delightful, and it's featuring all Wisconsin local dairy products. So Crave Brothers is a family-owned dairy farm. 95% of our farms in Wisconsin are family-owned, and also 2 other favorites: the Odyssey, the Buchholzer Brothers, and then also you've probably seen a lot of the Sassy Cow Creamery products around Madison.
Right.
So.
Boy, that looks refreshing.
Yes, very refreshing.
You keep it in the fridge, though, right?
You want to keep it in the fridge for at least 8 hours before you serve it, so it sets nice and beautifully, and the mascarpone and all those flavors blend together.
All right. Go to the website?
Yep, check it out, WisconsinCheese.com.
All right. Happy June Dairy Month.
Yes.
All right, and here's Jacob now, one final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to continue to see some scattered showers and storms both this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon, and temperatures are going to remain very similar with highs in the upper 80s, lower 90s. Dry over the weekend, a chance of storms Monday evening and overnight, and that will cool things off a bit for the middle of next week with another chance of storms towards the end of next week. But in general, we're going to continue to be warm and dry.
All right, Jacob. Thank you. That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have a great afternoon.
Get more local news now with Channel 3000 Plus, our free digital streaming service, bringing you area news and info from the News 3 Now team. Download it today.